This is the Epson Home Cinema 2350 4K Pro-UHD smart gaming projector. My first impression was simple. It's bright, colorful, and surprisingly flexible to place. But it takes a little patience to dial in just right. Key features that stood out to me are the 3-chip 3LCD engine, 2800 lumens, Epson's 4K Pro-UHD pixel shifting, HDR10 and HLG support, low input lag for gaming, 1080p at 120 Hz, Android TV built-in, and a vertical lens shift dial. That combination made it easy to live with day to day, and it's what makes this model feel aimed squarely at living rooms and gaming setups, rather than a sealed, blackout theater. My experience, the setup felt friendly at first. I placed it high on a shelf and used the vertical lens shift to bring the image into position without tilting the chassis. That single dial saved me from using Keystone, which is great because Keystone warps pixels and softens the picture. The manual zoom and focus rings are basic but get the job done. The catch is the focus ring is very sensitive. I'd get the center tack sharp, then notice the quarters were a touch soft, fix the corners and the center would relax a bit. After about 20 minutes of warm-up, I also saw slight focus drift and had to nudge the ring again. Not a deal breaker, but it became part of my routine. On picture quality, the 3LCD system really shows. With 2800 lumens and equal color and white brightness, colors stay lively even with a lamp on. If you've ever seen a single-chip DLP throw rainbow streaks when you move your eyes, that's not an issue here. RGB is projected at the same time, so there's no rainbow effect. I watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with shades cracked open. And saturation held up better than I expected. Sports looked punchy, and skin tones didn't wash out. The 4K Pro-UHD part is Epson's pixel shifting. In plain terms, the panels are 1080p, but the image is shifted rapidly to create more detail on screen. It doesn't resolve tiny single-pixel 4K test lines like a native 4K projector. But at a normal seating distance, I couldn't see pixels, and textures in clothing and hair look dense and crisp. HDR10 and HLG are supported. Highlights pop nicely, though overall HDR depth is limited by black levels. That brings me to contrast. In my opinion, blacks land more as dark gray. Letterbox bars glow a bit unless the room is dim and the content is bright. On a white wall, the gray floor is noticeable during moody films. A low-gain gray screen and eco mode help me a bit by knocking the peak brightness down and nudging perceived contrast up. But if you're after deep theater blacks, this isn't that kind of machine. Gaming is where the 2350 made me smile. Input lag felt low and responsive at 60 Hz. Aiming in shooters didn't feel floaty. Switching to 120 Hz at 1080p was absolutely worth it for fast games. Motion was smoother and camera pans stayed readable. It did take a couple of tweaks on my console and PC. I had to force 1080p at 120 Hz and set the color format to a lower bandwidth mode, YCBCR 420, to get a stable handshake. It won't do 4K at 120 Hz, so you're choosing between 4K sharpness at 60 Hz or 1080p fluidity at 120 Hz. Once set, it was rock solid. The physical design is compact and easy to move, and the front exhaust lets you place it near a wall without choking intake. The trade-off is you feel warm air blowing forward if you sit right in front of it. Fan noise is noticeable in the brighter modes. During quiet scenes, I could hear a steady whoosh. Eco mode quieted it down a lot. I did get a thermal warning once during a long gaming session in a warm room, which went away after I gave it more space on the sides and switched to Eco. Android TV being included is convenient. The stick hides in a rear bay with its own HDMI and USB power, so the interface feels built-in. Apps like Netflix, Prime Video, YouTube, Disney Plus, and HBO Max worked fine for me. Every now and then the interface would lag. A quick reboot fixed it. The catch with that hidden bay is HDMI availability. There are 2 HDMI ports total, but the internal Android TV effectively occupies one. That leaves you with only one easy external port. I ended up using a small HDMI switch to run both my PS5 and Xbox. You can pull the Android stick to free the port if you prefer your own streamer. I tried both ways. Audio is basic. The 10W speaker is okay for casual use, clear enough for dialogue, but thin and directional. I prefer a soundbar. One important note, Bluetooth audio on this projector only works for content played from Android TV. When I streamed from Android TV, I paired Bluetooth to a soundbar and it worked, though I added a small audio delay to line up lips. For consoles plugged into HDMI, I routed audio through my console and soundbar instead of relying on the projector, which solved sync and kept everything consistent. A few small quality-of-life observations. The projector remote and the Android TV remote are both simple and not backlit, so I had to memorize key buttons or reach for my phone's flashlight in the dark. The air filter is easy to access and clean, which is nice if you're in a dusty room. There's no 3D support, which surprised me coming from older Epson units that handled 3D well. It's perfect for anyone who wants a bright, colorful 100 to 120-inch image in a shared space, watches a lot of sports and animation, and plays fast games where smooth motion and low lag matter. The lens shift makes non-ideal placements workable, and Android TV layers the barrier to hitting play without extra boxes. I'd recommend this for living rooms, dorms, and casual theater setups where you can dim the lights but don't need a pitch-black cave. If your priority is deep blacks and razor-sharp edge-to-edge optics for cinematic night viewing, you'll probably want to step up to a projector built around contrast first and brightness second. From my experience, here are a few easy habits that helped me get the most out of it. Let it warm up for 15 to 20 minutes before that final focus tweak. Use the lens shift rather than keystone. If you game at 120 Hz, set your device to 1080p and choose a bandwidth-friendly color format. Give it space to breathe, and consider eco mode for quieter movie nights. If you need multiple HDMI inputs, a compact switch solves the connectivity headache. In conclusion, the Epson Home Cinema 2350 feels like a fun, flexible projector that prioritizes color, brightness, and gaming responsiveness. It's not a black-level monster, and the optics need a gentle touch, but when it's dialed in, it delivers a big, lively image that's easy to enjoy with friends and family. In my opinion, it nails the big screen anywhere vibe better than most in this class, as long as you're okay with its quirks. If this video helped, subscribe for more honest gear reviews, and drop your questions in the comments. Thank you for watching.